Talk Show. Recorded live.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever it may be across the nation or around the world. Once again, you're listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable Podcast. This is podcast number 703. My name is Eric Nelson. With me today, I have my favorite co-host, Corey Romero. Today is Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. Welcome to the Community Podcast. You can go to youtube.com/VBarbecue to see what we look like. Corey Romero, you're up in Utah, back from vacation. How you doing today? What's the weather like up there in Utah?
It's surprisingly nice. It was cold, I heard, when I was gone in Costa Rica, and came home, and it's 80s. So nice weather in Utah.
Very good. Very good. Well, in the Bay Area, it is a beautiful sunny day. It's nice in the 70s, in the mid 70s. It's been nice and warm. We've been having later summers and longer winters, it would seem, and this is no change. On the show today, we're going to be just talking community roundtable. We're talking to Julia, Klaus, and Corey on things that are happening for Broadcom Day 3. So if you're aware of Day 1, that was when we got purchased. Day 2 was 6 months later, around May, and now Day 3 is going to be in January, right? We're working on projects, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the projects and what's happening in 2025. Our 2025 planning is going on right now. We're working with VMUG. We're working with everybody, VCF division, everyone. So talk a little bit about a community going forward and some of the cool things that are happening with regards to Day 3, which I got to say is about that time. So I'm excited about that. Corey, anything going on with vExperts or anything that we want to talk about with regards to the vExpert program? I think we're done with the second half invites. I don't know if you guys got anything else going on, or we're kind of just
nothing right now at the moment, other than I do have an email that's going out tomorrow. That's going out to all vExperts. It's going to be a call for blogs with a couple other things. It's all VMware Explore related. There's a call to action for creating a video for Explore Barcelona, so that'll be in the email itself. Also, so if you're vExpert, look for that tomorrow.
Nice. Okay, well, watch for that. So topics for today that I think we should talk about a little bit is VMUG support for 2025. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Home lab licensing, a little bit about home lab licensing and where that's going. We haven't made any announcements yet, but there has been a lot of people talking about it, and there is a Day 3 project going on around that, so maybe I'll give you a little bit of insight in that. And then we have Julie here to talk about VMTN and community, so we'll probably do that one first since she's here. I want to talk to her a little bit about where the community has been from VMTN perspective, and then we shifted over to Broadcom on their community platform, which was pretty rough, right? All things Day 2 was pretty rough in May, where everything struggled to work. So we had performance issues, we had redirect issues, all that. But we'll talk to Julie about that. And then we will get to a little bit of Explore Barcelona activities. We've added a new activity, the V Rockstar Party. So we'll talk a little bit about that. That's going to be funded. So we're lots of community oriented conversations. So let's get started with Julia. Julia, you've been on the podcast so many times now that I don't think we need to do the who are you and what do you do. But the 1 minute elevator pitch. Tell us a little bit about the history of VMTN and the Day 2 migration that you've been working diligently on since the acquisition.
Yes, Eric. So we have been working on the migration since I think October of 2023. Of course, all the mapping. It was a massive amount of data migrated, like over 3 million of users, and all the topics since 2010 when the VMTN community started. Everything was migrated, including images, topics, and all the communities. And of course, it's a community that was 10x the size of Broadcom community. So we found some challenges there. We faced some challenges with all the redirects. It was a lot, so many use cases that you have on VMware communities before that we had to adapt in the new platform, Higher Logic. And we are working with the GTO all this time to stabilize everything, have all our redirects working. And now finally, stabilization period is over. And now it's time to have some fun. And we finally are working on the mock-up for our landing page.
So before
And
you
I'm
get
very
into that,
excited
let me
about
just
that because this.
yeah, let me just stop you there and say, so what you're talking about is communities.vmware.com, right? Which was also known as VMTN, right? But communities.vmware.com was
Mhm.
what community platforms, and that's all the forums, right? So that's just basically all the forums, some blogs, right? But mostly all the forums where experts came in and answered questions. And where did that go then when day one happened, or I guess day two happened? Right? When did all that shift over to and to where?
On April 29th, we migrated on their communities that broadcom.com, and we had for each division we had like VMware Cloud Foundation, ANS, and SDE as well. We had different pages in different places on the communities.broadcom.com, and also our programs like education, flings, betas. They're all over, I would say, somewhere in the Broadcom communities. And but we're looking for finish the whole migration and be sure that everything was working properly, be sure that the forums were working before we come with the GTO and create our landing page. Then
So
we missed.
before you get into landing page and that, so you migrated these 3 million users over to community.broadcom.com, right? And that was in May. You picked up the flings, you picked up all the things. How did that go?
Was a bit challenging because there are many functionalities that we use in the old, I would say, the legacy community that were not available in the new platform, and we had to work along with the GTO and also the vendor to adapt to us. And so all this time has been about adapting, building the features, and being sure that the same content and the features that we had available in the old, I would say, the legacy. I don't like to say chorus. I
So
don't say.
what were
I
some of the
don't know if I'm allowed to
problems?
say that.
What were some of the problems that community members ran into?
We had the platforms work in a different way. So on Chorus, for example, we had capabilities to users share coding, for example, coding samples, and this is one of the examples, of course. In the other, there are many functionalities there that we have been working on, and also the limit for size, file sizes, and all of this we had to readapt. And in the new platform, Higher Logic, they didn't have it. We migrated all our posts with images. They were split between something on the library somewhere and the post without the attachment or without the code samples, for example. This is just those are a few of examples of things that didn't work well, capabilities wise, that we had to adapt. And
I think for
so
me, when I watched it, the biggest problem that users ran into is just purely performance. Like we saw timeouts on almost everything for like the first 4 weeks. I would go try to find anything, and it would just time out, and the search results would come back with nothing. Right. So
system
for me, that was
overload.
one of the biggest problems, was that they struggled with performance because I think their platform wasn't really ready for the scale for which we are used to running. Right. So performance was there. Corey, you worked on the Fling site, right,
Yeah.
with William Lamb. Did you see any other kind of things that people had to deal with when we were building that stuff out?
Just trying to find all the flings, right? It was difficult for us to gather every single fling that we had up there right away, and so it took some time. So I remember in the beginning, we put up, I don't know, I think it was maybe 27 flings, and
I have an answer for that.
yeah, around 27 flings while I built out the rest of the flings page, and I think at today even William is still adding flings to the page. So I think a lot of it was one, finding the new flings page. If you go to Google search, it would send you off to an old page versus sending you to the Broadcom community flings page. So there's a lot of that. So I know we're out on Twitter pretty heavy, letting people know where to find things as well.
Yeah. Julia,
For
if I
that,
remember
we have
right, there was one other major problem that people ran into, and it was, I think, on Google search finding content. Like you would find old forums and you'd click and they'd go to nowhere.
because they didn't migrate apples to apples. There are some differences there. We are not able to tackle like 100% of redirects yet. They're still working on that. But my hope is when you have a landing page, we will know where to direct everything, redirect each link, and then that's going to be fixed. By now, we have 70% of the redirects working well, but a lot of those don't have yet. I would say apple to apple to compare, and
So what
just
exactly
was
is a
millions.
redirect?
The redirect is the link that was to all the old community. There's communities.vmware.com slash let's say a post on vSphere /vSphere/ topic / the name of the topic. No, it's gonna be to the communities.vmware.com, and at the end it's gonna be the whole thing, but it's gonna do /broadcom at the end. So
Okay, so it's the fact that we moved from VMware.com to Broadcom.com, and with a new community platform. The old platform had a different URL syntax, and then you have to redirect to the new URL syntax, right? And typically, when we would do a migration, we would do all those redirects during the migration, and we've migrated the platform a couple different times. But this time, it seemed like the redirects weren't even there for the first week or two or three or maybe first month, right? A lot of people struggled with finding any form content, right? And I think that was because of redirects just were not implemented. So you're saying now you think 75% of the redirects are now in place?
yes, they are working. And also when you change a link or you add a redirect to a link, Google takes a little while to pick it up. So every time we change some of them, like a group, on Google is going to take some time. Sometimes we knew it was working, was redirected. We had the old link and the new link right, and it was not finding for some reason. So Google also took a little bit to pick up on that. It was one of the that also added to the situation.
So now that's done, I believe performance has recovered. They've now got they got enough servers in place to run the workload. They got most of the redirects, or at least 75% of the redirects in place. Would you consider the platform now stable?
It is stable. There are some cleanups to do, of course, some consolidations that we didn't want to do before, because if you need to redo something on the migration, we wanted to be sure that the name was compatible with the name in the old community. But no, it's time to we consider the platform stable right now. It's faster. It's it is working. All the topics, the forums are working faster, and you can also, Corey, going back to Flinks, we are adding as well a search bar on Flink's website, and I think that's going to help a lot, Corey, to find the new Flinks.
Great. So day 3, what are you guys thinking about in regards to, like, what are you doing next? So what's your big project for day 3?
Working with the divisions to clean up and consolidate their pages, their products, have their product names updated, and also aligned with the go-to-market strategy from Broadcom. Also creating our landing page. I call it our coming back home. We have everything there, and our landing page is going to invite the community to come to see everything that you enjoyed in our legacy communities here. We can find everything in our it's going to be a hub for everything, all things VMware again in communities.
Yeah, I think that was one of the complaints that we had from day 2 was when you went to community.broadcom.com, which is the newer URL for communities, community.broadcom.com. When you went there, it was kind of hard to see VMware, right? Like you'd have to go to communities, and if you had to drag down to they had VCF, right? And that was pretty much where you had to go find the communities. And there wasn't much of a landing page. There wasn't a place that we could drive people, right? It was like the communities for Tanzu and
the community for betas and the community for flings and the community for VCF were all in 3 different places, and you kind of had to go use the nav bar to figure out where you were going, and that was mixed with 20 other Broadcom divisions. So then you're like looking at all these names, everything, and it was really difficult to see community posts. And then there was no place that aggregated all of the VMware content up into one place. So is that what you're trying to address now?
Exactly. We want to have the landing page. The main link, communities.vmware.com, that we had before, it's going to redirect to the new landing page that it's everything VMware communities. And that's, I think it's going to be a big win for us when it comes to find everything that we had before available.
Are you going to have a
all the
roll up of
programs
all
will-
the threads on a single page, like a roll up so I can see without having to go to 6 other places?
Yeah, one of one of questions that I had before is I have to go to each community to see new posts, and then unfortunately that was the only option. With the new landing page, we are going to have a widget where it pulls all the new posts from all VMware communities, the 3 biggest, the 3 divisions, and you don't have to go in each page again to see new posts. You can scroll down and you can choose the options load more, and you see all the latest posts from all the VMware
Great.
communities
Great.
there. That's
Great.
the one
Well-
cool things that we're excited about as well.
I know the performance is important. I'm
having-
glad that's fixed. And I know that visibility of all the communities is good. So having a landing page is good. And then I have a feeling that just giving you a directory of all the other programs, like where VExpert is, where VMUG is, where code is very difficult to find everything right now, right? Like we have these programs, but for code, you have to go figure out where it's in the nav. For VExperts, good luck finding that these days, unless you know VExpert. And even the podcast landing page, right? Like we have podcast.vmware.com, but where do we expose that? Nowhere, right? So even podcasts are kind of hard to find now, right? Even this podcast. So I have a feeling that having that landing page will give us a place to then highlight all the community stuff for anybody that's coming into Broadcom new, right? If you've already been with us for a long time, it's easy to find, where everything's at, right? But having a landing page will be great. Do you guys have any idea of when you might get that done? January date? I think day 3 is January, so I assume you're working to kind of that schedule.
Yes, I would love to have something ready for VMware Explorer, but we just had the mock-up ready, and we're going to start to work on that. I want to be sure that for day 3 we have the page ready. But of course that we are working with other teams, and we just started this project. So my answer is as soon possible, but it will be available for sure on January.
Right. Well, excited about that. I'm definitely looking forward to, making some progress there. And again, thank you for all the hard work getting that up and running. It was very painful. All day 2 things were very painful getting onto Broadcom. But now we're there, and we're slowly making progress. So that's good. So moving on, we do have VMUG support for 2025. We've been working with Brad Tompkins and the whole VMUG team to increase the dollar amount that we're spending on VMUG. So we're excited about that. That's kind of a 2025 plan. And one of the things we're really looking forward to is actually investing in chapters. So if you actually listen to Hawk talk, he was at the Boston VMUG last week. And you listen to him talk, he's big on investing in community chapters, right? He's okay with the user cons and he's okay with the events, right? That's a nice business. But if you really look at where he likes to put money, it's in people meeting, having conversations, and talking. So expect increased investment in chapter work, right? And the other thing that VMUG has made an exception is if there's an area that doesn't have a chapter leader, a Broadcom / VMware employee can actually spin up a chapter meeting and get it going. And then once it goes, then look for a non-employee to, support it, right? So that's new, because in the past, I've talked about having a Silicon Valley chapter spun up, and we have a Silicon Valley chapter, but I'm not even sure it's active right now, right? And so one of the things that I had originally said is, hey, I'm a community guy. I'll help build a community in Silicon Valley, right? Like, get all my friends and get people I know and show up and have some beers and talk tech, right? I love community for that reason. So I'm excited about the fact that now VMUG is actually refocusing itself back on chapters. I think that Hawk is focused on chapters now, which is actually going to be fun. And Corey Romero, you're up in Utah. I don't know if they have a VMUG chapter meeting chapters up there, but now I feel like we have a license to participate in our local VMUG, where before it was kind of like, well, you're an employee, so don't try to do too much, right? So that should be interesting.
Yeah, there's one here in Salt Lake City, which I've gone to lunch with the leader a few times last year. And there's also one just like 2 hours north of me in Idaho, which I'm going to be on, which the next meeting that they have, I'm going to go up to. So, it's not very far at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, Idaho, right? There you go. Right next.
That's in southern Idaho.
Those states up in the Midwest are pretty tiny, right? Like, they're like this size of Mountain View down here, right? Just a little. Yeah. Right. So excited about that. So I'm looking forward to, participating more in the chapter space, and Hawk is big on that. And let me tell you, when Hawktan says something, everybody listens around here, right? We like what he says. He gives us good direction, and then we go implement that. And generally, when the company is focused on that, there's usually budget that comes along with it. So we're excited about that as well. So that should be good. So we've talked about the landing page. That's actually coming in day 2. 2025, look forward to more chapter support, and then the policy change that allows VMware employees or Broadcom employees to help support your chapter should be good. And then we've also gotten some funding around getting SMEs and TAMs to the chapter meetings and to the user cons. So there had been a kind of a travel moratorium, right? That was probably left over from COVID, but we've identified where that came from, and we've actually then escalated that to get travel automatically approved for TAMs and SMEs who need to go be at VMUG meetings to present. So we're excited about that as well. So that should be good. That should be good. And then the next topic, which I have to dance around a little bit, and Julia, you've heard of this, which is home labs, and what's going to be happening with home labs as we go in the future. Like, are people going to still be able to do home labs? And I know Corey, we had Edward on the show maybe 2 or 3, 4 episodes ago, where we were talking about enterprise licenses and the vExpert licenses and everything that's been happening with the licenses. And what I would say is that we now have a day 3 project underway that has been approved by Hawk to get what I'd call home licenses to the community ecosystem. And it will have a VMUG play in it. It'll have a vExpert play in it. And, for a while we were worried that Hawk was just going to say, sorry, nothing is free, right? Like, or not, I shouldn't use Hawk's name. I should just say Broadcom culturally, was not like, hey, let's give things away free, because they're a chip maker, right? And chips cost money, and fabs cost money, and fab slots cost money. So they just didn't have the mentality of, free stuff, right? That, on the other hand, Broadcom is acquiring companies and listening to what they acquire, right? And they learn from what they acquire, and they want to grow the business. And it was clear when we wrote up a very big business case on, why people should have home labs, why they should have, not only but vSphere, but the whole VCF stack. Then we wrote that all up. Then, we got approval for the project, right? And I can't talk about the details of the project yet, because just like Julia, you don't know exactly when your day 3 date's going to be here. We don't know the exact date of when the day 3 project will get completed. We know it'll get completed pretty quickly. It's not going to be like March of next year. We expect it to be completed this year. And we're hoping that we can make the announcement of what that's going to look like and how people can go about getting their home lab licenses through VMUG or through vExpert or through other channels. There will be multiple ways to do it now, right? It won't just be you're a vExpert, you could get VCF licenses, or you're a VMUG Advantage member, you can get your licenses. There is actually going to be another option that will allow people to get home lab licenses that have nothing to do with vExperts or VMUG. There will be another way. There will be a path. And that's actually good, right? Like, I think it's good that there are multiple paths to be running your home lab, non-production licenses. And I expect that, over time, much the way we rescued Flings, Corey, I think that I'm very confident that everyone will have a path to get their home lab licenses again, which is...
I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah. You've been out of town since.
Yeah, I've been out of town, right? Like this is
we've made significant progress. I can't really talk about it. It's not something they've given me permission to do externally. I would love to tell the story because it's a fascinating story and a fascinating journey. We've been working on this journey since, I think, March of this year, right? And I can give you some insight in that. I think I've had probably 150 different meetings with different people inside of Broadcom. The biggest challenge, even if you got everybody aligned that it's a good business decision to keep supporting home lab licenses, the biggest challenge is Broadcom didn't have a way to give away licenses. They don't have a way, and they weren't willing just to cut a bunch of keys and spray them all over the universe. They wanted a customer ID. They wanted a transaction. And so, okay, at one point we were like, all right, we knew we wanted to do it. Everybody's agreement. We need to support this is a big deal, but nobody could figure out the operational models to actually do it. Like, at one point we got a quote of like $6 million to hire 40 full-time back-end ops people to onboard every single user that wanted a home lab license as an enterprise customer, right? Like, well, we have to have enterprise customers. They have to be an enterprise customer to get a license. So therefore, you're going to have to onboard all of these people that want home licenses. And we have like maybe 15,000 people that have home licenses. So if you had to onboard every one of those as an enterprise customer and then do a quote, you had to do a quote for each person that wanted it was just ridiculous. It was just an interesting thing to have conversations with ops people that are used to doing business a very specific way, right? Yeah. And so eventually we found a way to do it. We found a mechanism, or we would get quotes that, well, we can build that for you. Sure, if that's an important project. Broadcom is all about businesses spending money for stuff that they want in order to make more money, right? So they're like, for $2 million, we'll build you a way to do home lab licenses. And we're like, we don't have $2 million. That's more than our whole community budget for a whole year. We can't spend $2 million on just one element. And so I had many meetings where there was just like, and then the ops people within the company of Broadcom are very no-centric, right? They're like, nope, no, we don't do that. Nope. No, that's not what we do. Yeah. So we don't, that's not the Broadcom way. We don't do that. So there was a lot of that, all good people, all wonderful people, but then just operationally, it was an interesting thing. But we kind of kept banging our head against the wall until we found a crack and we, opened it. And then eventually when we got a way to do it and then we figured out an operational way to do it, then it was just getting everybody on the top executives to agree that I think the revenue for producing, let's say 25,000 licenses a year is like 25 million. And so somebody had to agree to cut $25 million for the free licenses per year. So we had to have, kind of an executive response to that. But once we got that, now we've got the project green lighted. We have the model. We have a whole document that describes how it's all going to work. And we're trying now to move to the next step, which is the marketing element of it. When are we able to do this? We're doing various tasks, onboarding vendors and doing some things to make this work. And then we'll put together a marketing plan that says when we're going to announce it. I'm hoping for Explore in Vegas, right? So that that's, and by the way, that's when VMUG Advantage licenses run out, is at the end of October. So we don't have any more licenses to sell. So we wanted to be able to allow them to keep selling Advantage. So we're hoping we get an announcement done by the end of October, right? Where we can tell people how it's going to work. And I'm super excited about it. No question, Corey, just like you. I saw you.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Sitting here.
Not only that, but not just vSphere Standard Edition. We're talking VCF as well, right? The whole stack. So
right, yeah.
That's that we were worried about that as well. But no, we're all I can say is that I can say that everybody was excited about it in the end. A lot more excited than we were worried about whether we were just going to get shut down in any month. But nope. Actually, it went really well. I was super positive, and they're all super excited about it. So
I'm excited. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really, really, really good news to come home to.
Yeah. It is. There's no question. I get to put a little star on my chest for that one. I feel like we rescued Flings from the dumpster, right? When they threw all that away, and it just was like William Lamb and us, we went and found it out on an Akamai and grabbed all the data from Akamai. You wrote a script to go grab it all, and that was like rescuing from the dumpster. And then I feel like the Home Lab licenses was very similar. Like if we just didn't bloody our head against the wall, they didn't know any concept of how this worked or why or what. But once they got it, everybody was good. There's still a couple of grumpy back-end ops people that we work with. They were just like one word answer: no, maybe. Well, that's not my job. Things like that. Right? Where you're like, okay, you be super polite and go, okay, well, maybe if you could recommend something or things like that. Like now, in the end, if you have executive support, and let me tell you, we get executive support from Broadcom. Broadcom, from the very top, totally gets community. They understand the IT practitioners. They're like, next year, Explore, we want it all to be just IT practitioner content, right? So the Explore team have come back to us in the last 3 weeks going, hey, could you tell us specifically all the community stuff and how big they are and how many? So they're definitely, Broadcom is shifting to, hey, it's about the community. Dummy. What was the old Ronald Reagan? It's not about taxes, or it's the economy. Stupid. Yes. It's the community. Stupid. That's
way. Yeah. You heard Hawk say it on stage in at Explore in Vegas, right? Talked about community, right? And I've said since day one, community can't succeed without executive support from the very top down.
Yeah,
right?
It has to be a culture.
Have to have that, right? And so, that's super exciting to hear.
Right, and it is all the stuff that you hear about Broadcom, like, they raised, it's like, in the end, I look at them and I'm like, wow, these guys got rid of a lot of stupid stuff that I always question why the heck we were doing it, right? Like internet dummies guides and dummies sales guides and just stuff that I would just roll my eyes and go, we are the stupidest people I've ever seen for running a, vSphere for Dummies book, right? Like, why would you do
NSX for Dummies?
You're not a dummy if you run an NSX, right? Like, I'm sorry. But anyway, they got rid of all that. Now, what are they investing in? Community. They are being told, marketing's being told, the BUs are being told, hey, what are you doing for community? So all the people are coming to us now going, hey, we need this, we need that. Julia's experienced it, right? Like, she gets people, she calls me, these people came, what do I do? Like, everybody's coming, right? Mm-hmm. It's good. It's a double-edged sword, right?
It's nice to work with. We're working close with all the PMs now and the other divisions, and it has been great for the community, of course.
Yeah,
And
because
on the
they don't pay us anymore, and all we do is work harder, right? But it's still fine. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Still
that.
same amount of time. Sometimes a little longer, but you know what?
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's all good.
Yeah.
on the licenses,
So-
Eric, just a comment on that. We just show that we are working on the community concerns, even though sometimes we don't have the solution right away, but we are there every day reminding and trying to reach out to the right people to be sure that our community concerns are listened, and our community advocates for us, and we are the advocates for our community, what they need for their needs. So that's on the licenses. We have been on top of that for a long time. And Eric, great. I think it was Eric was being diplomatic on that, and that was great achievement. The community will be thankful.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, it is good. So let's see what else. We have one more community thing on the agenda here. Let me go back to my agenda here. Explore activities. Yeah. So one of the feedbacks that we got from Explore, Julie, I know you heard this, is like there wasn't a lot to do in the evenings, right? Like because the partner ecosystem has still been blown up, right? Like you don't see Dell, you don't see Veeam, you don't see all these guys that had big parties. HP would have a party, Dell would have a party, Veeam have a party. And it was kind of like this year when you went through the expo hall, it was pretty quiet, right? And that's because they reinvented the partner ecosystem program, right? And it's all still getting spun up. And everybody canceled their budgets this year because nobody knew whether they were even going to be a partner. And so the fact that now everybody knows they're a partner should change in 2025. I think expect partner activity to rebound somewhat in 2025. So but that meant that the evening activities were pretty thin. So I think it's Graham and I forget the other guy's name. Julia, who's the other guy's name that runs the V Rockstar party? They reached out, and so we've offered to help fund that, right? So I think we're going to give them 8 or 10K, something like that, to have a V Rockstar party at Explore in Barcelona. So that should be good because we'll get to have an Explore with another party. Who is it? Graham and somebody else? What's the two people? Do you know them? Garrett, not Garrett.
Garrett Edwards, and I think it's Vincent. Let me just check.
I cannot remember for the life of me. I've known the guy for years.
I have it in my mail, but I'm on my podcast laptop that doesn't have my Broadcom mail on it. So, but there are two great guys, Garrett, and somebody else. I can go look for his name. And we're gonna get that, and they're gonna do it Tuesday night. So if you're listening in Europe, Tuesday night Monday night. Sorry, Monday night. Jesus, Monday night they're gonna do the V Rockstar party, I believe. So look forward to that. So we'll have a V Rockstar party that's open, and everybody can go and register, sign up. We're going to help sponsor that for them, and hopefully they'll get 1 or 2 other sponsors, and they won't hurt too bad. So we're looking forward to that. The V Rockstar party. Patrick, that's right.
Garrett Edwards. Yeah. They're the ones that are organizing.
What was Patrick's last name?
Patrick Redknapp.
Rekna. Can't hear that. All right. Cool. Well, thanks to both of them for spinning up a community party, because I think it was missing, because this in Vegas, all we did was a leadership party. So all the chapter leaders got invited and the V experts got invited to the party. I think it was on Tuesday night, but then everybody else, another 800 didn't get invited to, or actually it's 1,600 or 2,000 community members that were at the show didn't get invited to that Tuesday party because it was closed. You had to have an invite. So this time I said, hey, let's grab some budget. I think we saved about 10K on the hackathon because the hackathon in Europe is cheaper. So we saved some money. We took that money, flipped it over, gave it to the V Rockstar guys so that we can have a party, I think, on Monday night as well. Note that the hackathon is also going to be Monday night. So if you want to code, you can go code with the hackathon. If you don't want to code, you can go to the V Rockstar party in Barcelona. Right? So that's what's happening there. We got the V Rockstar Party funded. The hackathon's happening on Monday. Say that again.
Yep. So we have something cool happening every day. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about our leadership party that's happening on Sunday as well. So starting on Sunday, our leadership party. And on Monday, V Rockstar and hackathon happening.
Yeah.
We have also some other parties happening there that they're not we're not allowed to talk about because they're
Well,
not part of our
is the one
community.
that you mentioned from the vendor on Tuesday? What's that one? You can say it if it's on Tuesday.
Okay. The rubric party is happening as well.
On Tuesday?
I think it's gonna be on Monday as well. So,
all right. So Monday's going to be late, heavy. Tuesday should be your team dinner, or hang out with that. I know in Barcelona the international groups meet and have dinners, and so hopefully they'll do those on Tuesday, because generally if you come from Germany or from France or Italy or Spain or any of the other countries, UK, you come in and your region usually will have a dinner, right? So if you get the regional dinners, then you'll have something to do on Tuesday. Hopefully everything's not stacked up completely on Monday. And then I know on Wednesday they have the party, so we'll be there with the party. So I'm cool with that. And I think that's mostly it. Other than obviously the community sessions are going. We're still looking for maybe 10 more community sessions because some people dropped out because they are not flying to Barcelona. So we got that.
Last week, a lot of people had answers from their leadership saying that they cannot make it to Barcelona. Was about 8 people, 10 between we had already 2 slots available, and with those 8 cancellations, now we have 10. And also the hub hours will be different. We don't have a hub, so the community booth hours will be different this year in Barcelona because we'll be at Expo. I think we talked about it, Eric. So
yeah, we're in the expo, which should be a lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward to that, because we're going to just be with everybody else, the vendors, everybody's going to be there, and then we're open a little bit later. I think we're open till 7 p.m. So we start at 10, but then we go all the way till 7, and we get the free food on the hall crawl night because we'll be in there, so that'll be cool. And we're not open on Thursday. So you can go to the show and then bail Wednesday night at 7. We'll be done, and then we can go party and drink our guts out or something like that. Right? So that should be good.
So if you have a breakout session that was declined, or any session that was declined, and you think that aligned with the communities, please reach out to us, and we will find you. And you are attending VMware Explore. Please reach out to us that we will work on a slot for you for your presentation and give you a session.
And Tony Foster says if you're in the expo hall during the hall crawl, if you want to pay them a tip, the drink people will hang out where you're at. So I'm gonna have to remember that, right? Tip people in order to get them to come. So cool. I like that. Good topic. I think we're at, we've been going for 45 minutes here. So running out of things to talk about. I think I covered my agenda items. It's not too late to register for Explorer Barcelona. If you're listening to this over in Europe, please drop by, come. There's going to be a lot of community activity going on. There are some things that I can't talk about yet. There's going to be a lot of people there that I can't talk about yet because some of these things that we're doing are not approved. But I would say that in Barcelona, the community is going to have some fun, and there'll be a lot of people there. And it's mostly because Broadcom gets it, and they're even looking at how to spend more money at Barcelona for the community, right? So, and I'm not allowed to talk about what that's going to be yet, but if you're in Europe, it's a quick flight, it's a cheap flight, save your money, come by. vSphere 9 is going to be out. There's going to be a lot of activity there. We're going to have some fun stuff in the community. Come say hello, and looking forward to everybody that goes and registers. We're watching Reg. Please share with your friends and come on by. I haven't heard who the band's going to be yet, but They usually have a European band that I've never heard of, but that should be fun as well. All right. With that, Julia, thanks. Corey, good to see you back from your vacation as always. Good to be here. Tony Foster, V Barbecue. You do any kind of barbecue? I did some ribs. I got out the ribs and just did the standard treatment: salt, pepper, a little jerk sauce, and then Mr. Stubbs rub. Let it sit overnight, and then I smoked them with just apple and hickory and a mixture of pellets, and smoked them, and they were great. They're always great. Once you get a recipe that works, it just works, right? So yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I actually did barbecue ravioli.
Ah, you're killing me, really.
Yeah. You take the little ravioli, you can get frozen, you can make your own whatever. Make sure it's all cooked and everything the way you like it.
Right.
Then you brush it with a little bit of oil and toss it on the grill. Don't put it directly over the coals, off to the side, and let it heat, let it brown just a little bit. Flip it and brown the other side, and then you get this nice crispy ravioli. Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, that makes. I'm on a diet. I've still been. I'm eating.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. I save all my calories for a meal in the afternoon, and that's really working for me. I think I've dropped like 30 pounds. So.
Congratulations!
Yeah. If you saw me in Vegas, I was pretty fat. I had a big old beer belly the size of a Christmas tree. So I've gotten rid of that. Now I just look fat. I don't look like ridiculously belly fat. So. Good there, but let me tell you, I do save my calories for the afternoon, and then I make something, and like I said, I make the ribs, or I make some steak, with some healthy vegetables, and yeah, it's good. I'm gonna have to smoke ravioli. I'll have to think about that. That's actually pretty good. Does it actually pick up the smoke or the flavor from the grill?
It does pick up the flavor from the grill.
Nice.
Because typically you'll partially cook your ravioli, like throw it in and boil it for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then you take it out and toss it on the grill, and it just absorbs a little bit of that smoky flavor.
I could see where it would also dry it out a little bit, which is good, like make it crispy, right? Because sometimes ravioli and all that's kind of wet and soggy, right? Like I found that sometimes I get it too soggy, and then you have sauce, it's fine, but if you dried it out, yeah, it's got a little barbecue smoke on that. That would be pretty good. I wouldn't mind that. All right. Well, that's the end of our Wednesday. Wednesday as always, community podcast. We'll try to get back on schedule. We've been bouncing around a little bit lately, but going to get back to every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Good to have everybody here. Nice to see everybody, and we'll be back again next week, 12 to 1 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone.